Why One Piece is the greatest anime ever made. There's a lot of anime out there, like a lot. Every year, a new show comes out that people call the best anime ever. It's happening all the time. And honestly, I get it. Some anime have amazing animation, some have great stories, some have characters that feel realistic. But there's only one anime to me that does all of that at the same time, and for over 2 decades without losing its heart, and that anime is One Piece. Now, I already know what some people are going to think that are watching this. They're going to be like, oh, it's too long. I don't like the art style. I'll never catch up. But if you look past the length and you actually sit down and watch it, One Piece is not anything like other anime. It's a story about freedom, about dreams, about pain, hope, laughter, and the kind of friendships that change your life. And I know that sounds corny, but like, it's true. You just have to watch it. And by the end of this video, I want to explain why I truly believe that One Piece is the greatest anime ever made. At its core, One Piece is a story about dreams. Every main character has one, and they're not small either. Luffy wants to be the Pirate King. Zoro wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. Nami wants to draw a map of the entire world. Sanji wants to find the All Blue. And what makes One Piece special is that it never makes fun of these dreams. In a lot of stories, dreams are treated like jokes. Characters are told to be realistic, or they give up halfway through. But One Piece does the opposite. If you laugh at someone's dream in One Piece, you're usually the villain. No, well, Blackbeard's a villain, but you know, he likes dreams, I guess. The story says that dreams matter, that wanting something big isn't stupid, and that even if the world is cruel, your dream still has value. That message hits hard, especially when you're young, confused, or unsure about your future. One Piece doesn't tell you that your dream is easy, it tells you that it's something that's worth fighting for. Mucky D. Luffy is one of the best main characters ever, and it's not because he's smart or strong, even though he is very strong, but he's actually pretty dumb. But I mean, that's the point. Luffy doesn't overthink things, he doesn't give speeches about justice, he doesn't try to change the world on purpose. He just knows what feels wrong, and he punches it, like a celestial dragon. Luffy is pure freedom. He does what he wants, he protects his friends, and refuses to bow to anyone who tries to control him. And the best part? He doesn't want to rule anything. When Luffy says he wants to be Pirate King, he doesn't mean power. To him, Pirate King means the most free person on the sea. That idea alone is powerful. In a world full of rules, systems, and control, Luffy represents doing things your own way. And even though he's goofy and simple, people follow him because he never lies about who he is. The Straw Hat Crew isn't just a group of characters, they feel like a real family. They argue, they mess around, they have inside jokes, but when things get serious, they would literally die for each other without hesitation. What makes this even better is that every single crew member is broken in some way. Most of them were alone before they met Luffy. Most of them were hurt by the real world. Some of them were betrayed. Some of them lost everything. And Luffy never fixes them, he just accepts them. One Piece shows that you don't need to be perfect to be loved, you just need people who believe in you. And watching the crew grow together over hundreds of episodes makes their bond feel earned. When they cry, it hurts. When they smile, it feels real. Like, spoiler alert, but when Ace's death happened, I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't really care much that Ace died. They were more sad that Luffy was sad. And that makes sense, because Ace didn't have like a ton of screen time, I guess. I was still sad that he died, honestly, but I still see where people are coming from. But One Piece backstories are on another level. They're not sad just for shock value, they're sad because they explain why a character is the way they are. You see kids being abandoned, you see people being crushed by society, you see dreams being taken away. But the backstories aren't just depressing, they always lead to growth. One Piece understands that pain shapes people. It doesn't erase trauma, but it shows that pain doesn't have to define your future. That's why moments like asking for help, standing back up, or choosing to live hit so hard, because you know what these characters went through. Also, the world building in One Piece is honestly ridiculous. This world feels alive. Islands have their own cultures, governments have secrets, History is hidden on purpose, and actions from hundreds of episodes ago still matter. Nothing feels random. Stuff that seemed like a joke early on can become extremely important later. Characters you thought were minor can return with huge impact. Oda planned this world with insane care, and you can tell. Most anime focus only on the main story. One Piece makes the entire world part of the story. It feels like the world doesn't stop existing when the camera leaves it, like there's always something else going on. Even though One Piece looks bright and goofy, it deals with some really dark topics like slavery, racism, corruption, genocide, abuse of power, and it doesn't sugarcoat them. But what makes One Piece special is that it doesn't become edgy for no reason. The darkness always serves the story. It shows how cruel systems can be and how people suffer under them. But it also shows resistance, hope, and change. One Piece says the world is broken, but not beyond saving. Because One Piece takes time, the emotional moments hit way harder. When a character finally stands up for themselves, when a promise is kept after hundreds of episodes, when someone sacrifices everything, you feel it. One Piece earns its emotions, it doesn't rush them. That's why people cry watching it. That's why they cried watching a dang boat get burned. It's not because it's trying to be sad, but because you really care by that point. Also, people love to complain about how long One Piece is, but that length is exactly why it's so good. You don't just watch these characters, you grow up with them. I've been watching this show for years. You see them fail, you see them change, you see them keep moving forward. It feels like a long journey, it's not just a rushed story. And honestly, once you're caught up, your biggest issue is wishing there was more. I've legit got some of my friends to watch it that said it was too long, and once they're caught up, they wish they weren't caught up. And that's how I felt when I first watched it. I'm not glazing, that's the truth. That is how you're gonna feel when you're caught up. At the end of the day though, One Piece is about hope. Hope that things can change. Hope that dreams matter. Hope that even in a cruel world, kindness still exists. That kindness most of the time being Luffy himself, actually. It doesn't say life is easy, it says life is hard but worth living, and that message sticks with people. But One Piece isn't perfect. No anime is. All animes have their flaws. One anime that people act like it's perfect is Attack on Titan, and I think it has a lot of flaws. That doesn't mean I don't love it. It's probably in my top 10, to be honest. But no other anime has made me laugh, cry, think, and feel this much for this long. Like, One Piece is amazing. It's more than just fights. It's more than pirates. It's more than just a little adventure. It's a story about freedom, dreams, and finding your place in the world. And that's why, to me, One Piece is the greatest anime ever made. Let me know what you guys think, though, of the video. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Let me know your favorite One Piece arc, by the way, and I'll see you in the next video.